When my wife told me she was pregnant, and then said the baby was her boss's, she looked me in the eye and said, "You've always wanted a family. Raise this child." That was the line. I filed for divorce, exposed them both, and walked away with my dignity intact while their lives fell apart. Hello, Reddit. I'm Jonathan Hale. I'm 41, and for more than 10 years I believed I'd built a stable life with my wife, Miranda, 38. We had the big house in the suburbs, the weekend barbecues, vacations in Mexico, everything everyone else called a perfect marriage. But perfection is a fiction. It started on a dull Tuesday afternoon when Miranda texted, "We need to talk. Can you come home early today?" Her messages never read like that. Miranda was decisive, precise, a financial analyst who ran meetings the way a commander runs a brief. No fluff. When I pulled into the driveway, her car was already there. I found her pacing the living room, clutching a thick brown envelope like it was about to explode. "Sit," she said without warmth, waving me to the couch like she was giving an order. Inside the envelope was an ultrasound photo. My throat closed. "Miranda, is this?" Her eyes stayed hard. Her voice didn't crack. She looked at me like she was delivering a statement. "I'm pregnant," she said, "but it's not yours. It's Victor's, my boss." The house went quiet. The air felt thin. Then she folded her arms and added, as if it were a rational detail, "But I want you to raise the baby. You've always wanted a family. You'd be a great father. Victor's not the father type. You are." In that instant, part of me died. Another part, something colder, more precise, was born. If she thought I would meekly accept that, she underestimated me. For the next week, I played the stunned husband role. I let her believe that her speech had worked. She walked around with smug relief, telling friends she had been brave and that I was such a good man for standing by her. I received congratulatory texts from people who didn't know the whole truth. Even her mother called. "You're lucky she was honest. Not all women would be." The audacity of it made my blood boil, but my silence wasn't surrender. It was preparation. While Miranda flaunted the ultrasound, I quietly built my case. I hired a private investigator. I met with a divorce attorney. I contacted someone who would know Miranda's secret. Victor's wife, Helena. Helena was a corporate litigator, with ice in her veins. When I handed her the folder, hotel receipts, texts, photos of Miranda and Victor, she didn't blink. She closed the file, poured a glass of wine, and said, "He's finished. Let's burn them both." I liked her immediately. The next morning, Miranda left for a prenatal yoga class, which I knew was a cover for a rendezvous with Victor. The moment she was gone, I copied the PI's evidence onto a flash drive and composed a burner email with a damning subject line. "This is what loyalty looks like from your leadership team." Recipients: Victor's board, HR at his company, HR at Miranda's firm, and Helena, who couldn't wait to forward it. By noon, chaos was everywhere. Miranda was hauled into an emergency HR meeting. Victor was summoned by his board. Helena forwarded the material from her own account with a note, "Your CO has been busy." Miranda texted me a single snowflake emoji, her old signal for "I'm scared." That evening she came home pale and shaking. "They suspended me," she whispered. "Victor's under investigation." "Who sent it?" I asked. She stared at me. "Jonathan, you're going to leave me, aren't you?" I didn't answer her question. I said, "Pack what you need. The rest will be delivered to Victor's address. You two should get used to sharing." My lawyer filed rock-solid divorce papers. Every account and asset was squared in my favor. Miranda didn't even know I'd already DNA tested the fetus. I'd collected hairs and compared them to a discarded water bottle Victor had used. The results were unequivocal. When I put the papers and the DNA report in front of Miranda, she fell apart like a crumbling building. "You've always wanted a family," she sobbed. "It's still a baby, Jonathan." "Yes," I said, deliberately cold. "It's Victor's baby, not mine." That night, I packed my bags and froze her accounts. By morning, she woke to empty closets, declined credit cards, and a note on the door, "My dignity is intact. Yours never existed." The fallout was brutal for them, not for me. Miranda's cards declined one by one. Friends stopped answering. Colleagues whispered. She tried to salvage her image at corporate charity gala, only to be confronted publicly by Helena, who threw wine on her white dress and shouted, "Maybe next time, don't touch married men." Cameras flashed, gasps followed, and Miranda fled in tears. Her social life and career were incinerated that night. Victor lost his job, his marriage, and his reputation within weeks. Helena took him for everything. He fled overseas and was last rumored to be doing consulting work in South America. Miranda ended up in a one-bedroom apartment on a rough block. No money, no friends, no husband, and a baby on the way that wasn't mine. Months later, she called from an unfamiliar number, voice thin and broken. "Jonathan, please. I've lost everything. I just need to hear your voice." I listened, then hung up. I had moved to a new city, started at a better firm, and finally did something I wanted for years. I began volunteering at a literacy center for kids. I was free. Miranda once said, "You've always wanted a family." She was right. I just refused to have one built on betrayal. When she sent one last bitter email, 3 words, "You got revenge," I smiled, deleted her contact, and whispered, "No, I got peace." She didn't disappear quietly. For weeks, she tried everything. First desperation, "Jonathan, please. You can still be part of the baby's life. We can rebuild." When I ignored her, she staged accidental encounters in my old office parking lot, wearing the perfume she used when we first met, smiling a fragile smile. "Remember how much we wanted children? This doesn't have to end. You could love this baby. It could heal us." I looked her in the eye and said, simply, "It's not our baby, Miranda. Nothing about this could heal us." Then I walked away. When charm didn't work, she tried gaslighting, late-night emails accusing me of overreacting, of not seeing how much she loved me, of blaming me for her choices. Classic blame-shifting. I never answered. Silence, I discovered, can be the most cutting weapon. Then she tried nostalgia, sending old photos. Honeymoon in Santorini, camping in the Rockies. The Christmas we laughed making gingerbread. Attached. We were happy once. We can be again. Don't throw it away. The pictures no longer hurt. They were artifacts of the life she'd already destroyed. Finally, she threatened me. "You'll regret this, Jonathan. You'll never find someone who knows you like I do. One day you'll wish you were there. But threats mean nothing when someone has already detonated your world. They can take nothing more." I replied once with one sentence. "You already made sure I lost everything I wanted with you. Now I have nothing to lose by leaving." The last time I saw her was outside the courthouse after the divorce hearing. She stood in the rain, clutching her swollen belly, mascara streaking her face. "Jonathan, please," she begged, voice shaking. "I don't want to do this alone. Just hold me once." For a flicker, the memory of the woman I once loved stirred. Then I recalled the ultrasound and the casual line, "You've always wanted a family," as if she were handing me someone else's child. I shook my head. "No, Miranda, you chose this path. Walk it alone." Her sobs followed me down the courthouse steps, but they no longer pierced me. They were the echoes of someone trying to drag me back into wreckage. That night in my new apartment, I poured a glass of whiskey and watched the city lights. She might try again tomorrow or next month, but it wouldn't matter. I was done. Walking away isn't weakness. It's the strongest move a man can make when the person he loved tries to chain him to betrayal. For the first time in years, I felt free.